Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Big Toon Chat. I am here with, is it Anirudh? Is
You
that
just
how
call
I
me
pronounce
Annie.
it?
Annie.
Annie. Sorry about that, Annie. Had a bit of a problem with his YouTube streaming earlier on, so I've invited him onto here as to just basically chat about football. So, away you go. I mean, what do you want to chat about? You were mentioning Nigel Pearson earlier on. So, what is it about him?
So basically, Nigel Pearson went on this big rant after we lost to Coventry, where he just blasted the players. So yeah, just want to talk about that. But it's your channel; you can talk about whatever you want. You can, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, any specific game, any specific team, anything you want to chat about? I mean, do you follow European football at all?
A bit, I do. Yeah. I
Do
mean,
you?
we could talk about the Champions League if you want.
Oh, where do you want to start? I mean, the Bayern PSG game last night, I mean, that was a great game to watch. I mean, me personally, I think without Neymar and Mbappe, I think PSG are really, really just a bang average team. They rely so much on them, and I just hate the way that Neymar rolls around every time someone touches him. I cannot stand the bloke, me.
I mean, he's a good player, but it's just that his diving. But he's got the potential, and he's definitely world class. But him and Mbappe, I think he's just got like a really good um, chemistry between them. They've got a good understanding, and that's why PSG are so good.
Yeah, do you think they rely heavily on them too? And if they didn't have Mbappe and Neymar, do you think what sort of team do you think they'd be?
I also think that they've got a good base, solid base. They've got Kimpembe. They've also got Marquinhos, who are very good. So I think they
Yeah,
build from the back line. Then they've got a pretty weak midfield. Then they've got Neymar and Mbappe up top. Just I think Pochettino, when he came in, I think didn't quite work that out. And then when he realised the midfield is not as good as he thinks, um, he switched the system a bit, and I think he went to a 4-4-2, and
yeah,
then just let Mbappe and Neymar at it, and just solidify the defence. And then put two. I think last night he played Draxler as well. I think that was a bit
he
odd
did. Yeah.
because in the French league, I think against Lille, he played a 4-4-2 with no Draxler and no number 10 and played Neymar and Di Maria. It was a bit odd, but yeah, I think he got it right in the end.
Yeah. Hello to Thomas. Hello to Stephen as well. Just both watching the stream. If you want to get involved, the StreamYard link is in the comments. If you want to come and have a chat with her, by all means, join in. But Bayern were unlucky to lose a couple of their key players. I mean, Goretzka went off injured, and Alfonso Davies. I mean, I absolutely love him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's not a bad substitute to have on the pitch. And then you had Sula going off as well. I mean, they were just unfortunate, to be honest with you. But I thought they absolutely battered PSG. They just couldn't put the chances away, and you could tell they were missing Lewandowski, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if he was there instead of Choupo-Moting, I think Choupo-Moting, I think he had about two shots in a bit of a period where he just should have scored. And then I
Yeah,
think I'm just thinking to myself, if Lewandowski was there, and yeah,
yeah,
it's just he it was I think everything is built around Lewandowski. I'm not saying Bayern are a one man team, but I think if Lewandowski's there, Bayern tick. He wasn't there with Choupo-Moting, so yeah, I think
mhm.
that's where they could improve in the window that buy a replacement for Lewandowski.
Yeah, I mean, Lewandowski's out for a few weeks now. I don't really think he's going to make the second leg, but I know he's just started his rehab today, so fingers crossed he does, because that could have been easy 8 goal thriller last night with the amount of chances that Bayern had. I mean, they had like 31 shots to PSG's 6, I think it was something outrageous like that. But 3-2 going into the second leg. Who do you think will come out on top on the second leg?
I think because it's in Paris, the next leg, I think PSG will get the job done because they only need a draw, don't they? And even if Bayern win
Yeah.
2-1, PSG still go through an away goal. So I think PSG can afford to give away a goal as long as they keep it just as a goal. But I think PSG will get the job done because of the fact they've scored 3 away goals. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, who do you fancy for the Champions League? Are you a Man City supporter for the Champions League, or Chelsea, or who do you think will win?
Completely neutral. Literally, people say that if your team's not in Europe, then support the other English teams. No. Like if you're a Liverpool supporter, why would you support Man United in the Champions League if or Man City. No, I wouldn't. I'm not like that. So I think my money's on PSG. But if they get through this Bayern test, if they get through Bayern, and they get who do they have? Who do PSG have next? I think it's
Man City or Dortmund.
Yeah, then I think it'll be PSG. And if they just have a bit of luck against Man City, I think they can easily do it.
Yeah, I mean, Man City did look quite vulnerable the other night. I think Dortmund were unlucky just to score one. I mean, they had a goal ruled out. I mean, what was the referee thinking during that? I mean, he's blew the whistle far too early for me, and then to give it a foul and to book him for it as well was just, I thought it was just outrageous. I mean, what was he thinking?
I don't know. And then after the game, the linesman asked Erling Haaland for the autograph as well. I mean, his team's lost 2-1 in the 90th minute. They should have had another goal, which should have probably been vital. And you're asking for his autograph. I mean, seriously, come on. And it's just, I don't understand why he hasn't given it, and why is he blown so early as well? Yeah, but I don't get it. I've not got an explanation.
Yeah, I mean, the linesman obviously went to get Haaland's autograph, but he came out yesterday, the linesman, and explained that he's selling it off for a charity in Romania. So he's trying to raise money for a charity, which I thought was fair enough. You know what I mean? I mean, if he had been doing it to give to his son or something like that, I mean, but apparently that's what he's doing with the autograph. So I thought, well played for trying to actually raise some money for charity rather than thinking about everybody else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, where I am at the minute, I'm in Manchester and I'm not far from the Lowry Hotel. So we've seen the team bus go past on the way to the ground. And I think, obviously, I don't think the second leg's being played in Germany, is it? I think it's being played elsewhere.
I think it's been played in Seville. I'm not sure. I think that it is. I'll have to double check because I think because I don't think Germany's like allowing people without quarantine. Yeah, in at the minute. But I'm not. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, and obviously the other game as well, Real Madrid, Liverpool. Real Madrid won 3-1. That was pretty one-sided game from what I read. I didn't watch it at all. But Liverpool have got a hell of a job to do in the second leg to get through, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's not at Anfield, so that's an advantage already. But it's just, I think, silly defensive errors yet again, and the inexperience of Nat Phillips, a centre back, I think that time it cost Liverpool because when Liverpool went forward, they looked dangerous. They had little moments, they had small moments, and one of the small moments led to a goal, which could be crucial because they don't have to now just score one less goal to go through. But it's still very hard because Real Madrid now clearly will just sit back. If it's played at Anfield, they'll just sit back. If it's not, I think they'll attack a bit more. It's still not been confirmed yet. But apart from that, I think Trent still should be in the England squad, even though he made that big mistake.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's poor defending from an inexperienced centre back partnership in Kabak and Phillips. If they get a bit more time, and in the Premier League and in the Champions League, I think they'll turn out to be good. But I think the pressure of the moment, I think, got to them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Liverpool last season compared to this season, I mean, it just makes you wonder what has gone on over the summer. Is it the way that the world is at the minute? Is the pandemic having a bit of a play on them? I mean, it doesn't make any sense that they played absolutely amazing last season. They won the league by God knows how many points. And this season, I mean, they're struggling to get in the top four. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. They've got all the same players. Fair enough, they've lost Van Dijk because of injury, but you don't rely on just one player. You've got a world-class team there. I mean, something's not right, surely.
I think Van Dijk and Gomez especially because I know Van Dijk has the pace and Gomez has got some of the passing.
Yeah,
And I think that was like a perfect partnership as much as people slated it. And I think also what's let them down is Sadio Mane. And I think he's been poor all season. He's had a bit of luck to get some goals. And also the midfielder, Thiago has not really worked out. Genie Wijnaldum's he's just given up. He knows his contract's up, so he's leaving already.
yeah.
Naby Keita's not good enough at the moment. Then you got Curtis Jones and people like that who's just not good enough at the moment. But so it's just, I think it's contracts, new signings which have failed, and the attack which was so good last season, just failing at the moment as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are right in what you're saying about Wijnaldum. I do think his eyes are elsewhere. I think his heart's set elsewhere as well. I don't think he's playing to his potential. Thiago, the way I look at him, I mean, the way he played for Bayern last season, he was sort of like the playmaker, but he sort of slows games down, if you know what I mean. He doesn't sort of like think on the spot. He's always sort of like looking around for the next pass, but he doesn't seem to create much. And then you've got Jordan Henderson as well, who I think is a rock solid midfielder. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But then you're right about like Naby Keita and even Fabinho when he was in the midfield, but obviously he's had to drop back to centre back for a bit. He was a good attacking sort of, well, not attacking, but like he loved to tackle in midfield, didn't he? That Fabinho.
Yeah, I think Fabinho and Henderson. I think last season with Wijnaldum, I think that because it's such like an engine room, because they just want to run all day. I think that really helped them with the pressing style. And also Fabinho, I think he's massively underrated because of the fact that he's constantly just picking positions and he's last season. I think he prevented about 50% of the goals last season for Liverpool. If he wasn't there, if somebody else was there, I think it wouldn't have counted. But yeah, I think Fabinho was a massive miss. Henderson, not just because of his energy, because of leadership as well. And obviously Wijnaldum's just the other engine in the midfield as well. So yeah.
Yeah, but obviously the odds are looking in Real Madrid's favour now, aren't they? I mean, 3-1 against Real Madrid in Spain as well, and then you've got to come back to wherever it's going to be confirmed the next leg. It's just fair enough they got the Salah goal as the away goal. I mean, even getting 2 goals back against Real Madrid's tough, and then mind 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've got to massively rely on Phillips and Kabak, which is going to be a test. And then they've got to rely on. I think they've got to rely on the wide men because I think as much as I rate Jota, I think Firmino's got to start just because they struggle so much in midfield and there was for the first goal, Real Madrid goal, Toni Kroos just had so much time, and I think if Firmino was there, I think the players would have gotten a bit of a lift because he was running around all the time, and I think the players would have done the same as well. So I think Firmino should be back. If he goes 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, something like that, I think that might be the solution. But I'm not too sure because if you concede even one goal, I think it's pretty much done. It's already pretty much done because Ramos is apparently coming back for Real Madrid. And also Rafael Varane, even though he's got COVID, I think he might be coming back.
Yeah, you would have thought that Liverpool would exploit their defence with them obviously having the first choice centre backs out, wouldn't you? But I think they just didn't take their chances. They couldn't really get into the game until the second half because Real Madrid was so well organised. And Toni Kroos, I think, is one of the best playmakers in the world, if you ask me. I mean, just looking at his ball for Vinicius for the first goal, I mean, that was near his own box and he still managed to hit it over everyone. And Vinicius took it with a beautiful touch and put it away. I mean, that's what you expect from Real Madrid, isn't it? That's the sort of team that they are.
Yeah, that's what you've come to expect of the past few years of Toni Kroos, really, because he's got such a good passing range. Even though he's not got the pace, his passing gets him out of trouble all the time, and I think that's the reason. he's still starting for Real Madrid. Otherwise, he would have gone a long time ago.
Yeah, nice of Stephen to join me. How you doing, Stephen? You all right? You look very comfortable there in your little reclining chair.
Yeah, I'm just reclining. There's been to have a shave, so I'm just relaxing a little bit now. How are you guys?
Oh, there's a big echo there.
Echo, is there?
Yeah.
I'll just leave and I'll come back with my headphones on.
Okay, all right. Well, that was short and sweet, wasn't it? When you look at the two games for the Champions League, you've got Real Madrid, and then they play the winner of Chelsea or Porto, and then you've got the potential of Man City versus either Bayern or PSG. When you look at them games, I think you just know that you're in for a good semi-final and a good final, no matter what, aren't you?
Yeah. Especially with Chelsea, Real Madrid, if it does happen, because Chelsea are pretty much through. And then if Real Madrid go through as well. So yeah, it's a good semi-final there. On the other side, Bayern, PSG versus Man City. I mean, that's just the stuff of dreams at the moment, because just two managers who've got a lot of reputation, then their passing style, system, and good footballs as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good semi-final. But it's going to be so hard to predict who's going to win the whole thing.
Yeah. UTFR United. What do you think of Sunderland? I know what I think of them, but I'm not going to say it on here because I try not to swear on me streams. Annie, what do you think of Sunderland?
Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit biased in saying that Lee Johnson is their manager at the moment. So,
yeah.
So, I like them a bit more than I used to. So, they're a good team. They're on the up with Lee Johnson. They're going to be mid-table championship next year. They're going to get promoted this year. Then, yeah.
I was just going to ask you that.
Sorry?
I was just about to ask you whether they would get promoted this year, but I mean they're on track, aren't they? They're on good form at the minute, so I mean they're nearing off the automatic places. So I wouldn't be surprised if they even get them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the third. I mean they're only 2 points off Peterborough at the moment, which is a massive game. I think 2 days ago, where they went to Peterborough. They got a last minute draw from a free kick. But yeah, if they got 3 points there, I would have definitely backed them for promotion, because that would have really hurt Peterborough. But I still think it's anyone's game between Hull, Peterborough, and Sunderland for the top two, because even though Hull have just stretched out a bit, I think they're still going to get dragged back with Sunderland and Peterborough's quality.
Yeah, I mean, if they get promoted, I mean, it's no skin off my nose, but you know, I mean, I'm happy the way that they are at the minute. I mean, I hope Newcastle gets a few more points and manage to stay in the Premier League, so we don't have to try and battle with them in the Championship. That's all I'm praying for, because we haven't got a good record against Sunderland recently. I don't think we haven't won a game in 5 or 6 games against them, so I really hope that we don't go down the Championship. UTFR United, any chance of you lot getting Phil Jones off our wage books? I mean, I don't know if that's referring to Newcastle or Bristol City. I'm going to guess. No. Yes.
I think that might be Newcastle. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If we'll take Phil Jones, if you can take Emil Kraft and Jeff Hendrick. I mean, that's the only way I would take Phil Jones off your books. I know he's costing an absolute fortune.
We'll have Dwight Gale. That's it. Final offer.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that actually. Dwight Gale obviously just signed a new contract with Newcastle. Do you think that is basically trying to get an offer for him in the summer to try and get up to 5-6 million off someone to add a few more years on his contract?
Not necessarily, because if they were trying to do that, I think it would have been maybe a 2-year contract or a 1-year contract extension. A 3-year contract though really does change the whole thing, because I I think they're preparing for the Championship, or they're preparing to maybe give Dwight Gale an opportunity up top. I don't know. But yeah, it's a sensible move in terms of if you're preparing for the Championship, because he's a very good Championship striker. But I've heard Newcastle fans saying that they want to give Elliot and was it Anderson the chance?
Elliot Anderson. Yeah,
Elliot Anderson the chance in the Championship if they do go down, and get rid of the likes of Gale and Joe Linton, and even Andy Carroll. But he's a very good striker, and any Championship fan at their club will take him happily.
Yeah, he is. I think that's what all Newcastle fans sort of agree on. He is a proven Championship striker as well. The likes of Andy Carroll, I mean, he's just sitting on the bench, not doing much at the minute. I mean, he's not going to start a game. Steve Bruce has came out and said that he's not fit enough to start a game because he wouldn't last. He's more of an impact substitution. That's what he is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if things go south against Burnley at the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an appearance. Joe Linton, I think would struggle to get rid of him given his goal scoring record that he's got. Dwight Gale, I think I'd like to think that we're keeping him as a sort of like backup striker in the Premier League, but it just scares us, the fact that they're already planning for life in the Championship, which I don't really want to think about. And then you've got Callum Wilson as well. I mean, if we go down to the Championship, that's going to be like 2 relegations consecutively for him and for Ryan Fraser as well. So I don't think they will be hanging around. I think they go elsewhere, to be honest with you, along with a few other players. I think there'll be a mass exodus at Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll look worse on Fraser than on Callum Wilson if you do go down, because Wilson, he has scored goals when he's started for Newcastle.
Yeah,
and he scored goals last year for Bournemouth as well. It's just if for Fraser, I think his attitude will get in the way of the likes of maybe a Crystal Palace signing him next year. I think that attitude will really get in the way. I can see him sticking him out, and I can generally see him sticking out in the Championship. To be honest, because he's not proven over the last 2 years that he's good enough for the Premier League, but he could do bits in the Championship. Joe Linton, it's an interesting one because, well, it's not an interesting one actually. You need to get him off the wage bill. And Andy Carroll as well. You said impact, so he made a real impact against West Brom when he came on for a massive 30 seconds. So yeah.
Do you know how much he got for that?
What?
He got an extra £35,000 for that, just for making an appearance off the bench for 32 seconds.
That's how much our top earner at Bristol City earns a week. It's
outrageous, isn't it?
35,000 for 30 seconds.
Yeah, or 32 seconds, I think it was. 32,000, something around about that sort of benchmark. But
wow.
That's the sort of guy that Steve Bruce is. He brings people on the pitch, wastes money on them, and it's basically more money down the drain. Exactly what we're giving half the team. I mean, when you look at Newcastle's wage bill, I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. I don't really know how some of the players get what they're given. The likes of Shelvey and Joe Linton, like some of the top earners in the team, I mean, they're just dragging their heels behind most of the players at the minute. I mean, John Joe Shelvey is just, nobody wants him to play anymore. He hasn't got the legs anymore. He doesn't look interested half the time. He'll play one ball across the pitch and then everyone will think that he's great again. But he's just not. He's just an absolute waste. I mean, his best days were at Swansea, and then he went downhill from Liverpool. Then he had a few games for us in the Championship and sort of did well. But then, I mean, this season he hasn't been up to what we're normally used to seeing for John Joe Shelvey. I think we need to move him on, along with a few others. Emil Kraft, I think he's a waste of a wage, a waste of a shirt at the minute.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the players that would possibly leave Newcastle if we did go down, I mean, where do you start? You start from right from the very start. So Dubravka you've got. Then I wouldn't be surprised if someone came in for Darlow as well because of the way that he played at the start of the season. You've got Alan Saint-Maximin, Wilson, Almiron. I mean, the names just keep on coming, you know what I mean? So Isaac Hayden, I know he's just signed a new contract recently, I think. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone came in for him. So it's going to be a major rebuild in the summer if we get relegated.
Yeah. I can't disagree with any of those, especially the rebuild bit. Shelvey, I think he's just too slow. Because otherwise he would do really well in the Premier League if he had a little bit of more pace. But it's just he's so slow, and then it's just his end quality at times is just pathetic. And then he's played, yeah, exactly. Like just one good ball, everybody thinks he's good again because that's all he needs to do. Really. Yeah.
Stephen's back with me. Hello again, Stephen. How's your sound doing? Is it better?
Can you hear me all right?
Oh, that's really loud. 2 seconds. I need to turn you down. Say it again. Sorry.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, that's much better. So I brought Annie on this channel today because he had a bit of a problem with his YouTube stream earlier on. I think you're aware of it. So basically, we're just talking about football in general. I mean, is there any specific team, any specific country, any league, anything that you want to talk about at all?
Well, just what you've been talking about, really. Newcastle mainly. Just are we going to play against Burnley at the weekend? Like you're saying with Shelvey, he can't be asked half the time. He needs to go, like you say, Kraft, cause of the equaliser against Spurs. There's so many in that team that need to be shipped out and moved on. And like you say, with the rebuild at Newcastle, if we do get this takeover, it needs to be astronomical to try and compete again for trophies and titles. If you do get this takeover, that is.
Yeah, Annie, what do you think of the position Newcastle are in at the moment?
Well, you've seriously got threat of relegation. But just because of the fact that Fulham, they are really playing well, but only thing with Fulham is they can't score goals.
Yeah.
When Newcastle, what I've noticed is when Newcastle do get the opportunity to like a half chance in around the area, they do take the chance. I'm not saying they're clinical, but they are pretty good in front of goal. I think that's mainly down to Wilson. I think that game against Spurs was a one-off in terms of 2 goals. But you've certainly got the quality up top to score a bunch of goals, especially with ASM, Almiron, and then Wilson when he comes back as well. That's pretty deadly. So yeah, you've got the goal threat, unlike Fulham, but Fulham have got the defensive stability, which unlike Newcastle. So it's a bit of a balance. That's why I'm really torn between both of them of who's going to go down. And then you've got West Brom as well under Big Sam, who just turned up against Chelsea, and then they could go on a bit of a run and get 10 points in 4 games or something like that, and then just shoot up the league. But it's so hard to call it right now, but it's going to be really interesting if it does come down to the last game of the season.
Do you think it's between Newcastle and Fulham, though? Do you think Brighton and Burnley are safe?
Yeah, I'd say Brighton are safe. Less so about Burnley because I do think that this is a massive game for Burnley as well, because they also, if they do win, I think they're safe. So I think Sean Dyche will get them into the game with that sort of mentality. But yeah, it's good. It's Brighton. They've gone on a little streak again, like they did a few weeks ago. And yeah, they're pretty much safe as well now.
Yeah, when you look at the fixtures remaining, I mean, Burnley have probably got the easier running. The likes of Man United, Wolves, West Ham, Leeds, Liverpool, Sheffield United. But then you look at Newcastle's, and that is a tough running that we've got. I mean, after Burnley, we've got West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, Man City, and then the last 2 games of the season are Sheffield United and Fulham. So I think we need to start picking up points as soon as possible, don't we, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, with all them tough games coming up, you'd think Burnley's a must win. Like most games, must win now between now and the end of the season. But what we can pick up to try and stay up. I mean, with West Ham, they're flying, absolutely flying this season, going for Champions League football. You could argue we might get a point out of that. Leicester's probably about the same. It's all teams going for like European football and trying to finish as high as you can as possible. Arsenal, that might be a game where we might sneak a win because Arsenal have been very poor recently. And they're not the forces they once were, Arsenal, I don't think. And with Sheffield United, you would think that they'll already be relegated by the time the second to last game comes around. And with Fulham on the last day of the season, I just hope it doesn't come down to that. I don't think I could stand it. I don't think Newcastle fans could stand needing the win to stay up against Fulham, or even needing the point to stay up against Fulham, because it'd be too nerve-wracking. I think also with Fulham losing 3-1 against Villa, I've said this myself, it's a bit of a psychological effect on the squad being 1-0 up in the game, mainly cruising to in the last 10 minutes to lose it 3-1. I think there's something psychological going on in the minds of them Fulham players that was a game they should have really won. But it might not give them confidence to try and go into the remaining games and try and get wins to stay up. That's what I think anyway. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I've always thought. It could be a bit of a psychological problem in the minds. Yeah. Thinking they were coming out the relegation zone, now they stay in it. Now Newcastle's 3 points ahead. But let's see how it goes.
I think by the time that Newcastle played Man City last game, well, the third last game of the season, I think West Brom and Sheffield United will be relegated by then. And I think we will still be in the same situation where we've got Brighton and Burnley around Newcastle and Fulham. I don't think anybody's going to try and break away because everybody's got some tough fixtures coming up. So it's just going to be a case of like scrambling to get points wherever you can. So I think it's 1 from 4 personally. I don't think Brighton's safe yet. I think another couple of points in there might be safe. I think Burnley need about 4 to 6 more points. And Newcastle, I just think, need as many as they can get. Fulham, I just hope to stay there personally. I'm not really a favourite for Fulham at the minute. I mean, I've got no allegiance to them at all. Burnley as well, if they go down, they go down. I mean, they've been in the Premier League for God knows how long now, and Sean Dyche has been there, 8 years now? And it's just, I just think there's got to come a time when all good things must come to an end, and we've had 2 relegations in the last, 14 years or something? So I just do think that the time is going to come for either Burnley, Brighton or Fulham. I think Newcastle will just have enough to try and stay up. Annie, just moving on to Bristol City as well. 14th in the table. What's going on with them?
Okay. Well, we are, in short, very bad. So I'll leave it there, and we shall never talk about Bristol City ever again.
Do you need a new manager? Do you think, is that what it is?
No, I think Pearson is definitely the right man. It's just the players. It's just they don't really care about the club. They don't know about the fact that we've had to go through years of pain in League One, nearly seen our club go extinct because of stupid owners, and then now when we finally have a chance of going to the dreamland of the Premier League and playing the likes of Liverpool at Anfield, United at Old Trafford, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, they just don't realise that this could be the best moment of the club's history. don't realise that. And then we've been able to attract players who have who few years ago would have been like, what? Who? That guy? Oh my god! And then and then now we've got those players, and now we felt like a top 6 club. We felt like it for about 2 years now, and then it's just been the management. Lee Johnson, who's at Sunderland at the moment, and then appointing his assistant. After that, it was just a wrong call, and then leaving us in 15th. Well, the real threat of relegation was just like too much for the fans, I think. And then Pearson comes in. I think everybody's very excited, and then he wins 2 games on the row. We try and get our hopes up again, and then we go on a bad run, and then Bristol City fans have just. I don't personally blame them, but I think they're very fickle because of the fact that I think they experienced trauma of our club nearly going extinct, which I think really, even the smallest of thing, even like a new pitch on a training ground, has really like put their hopes up. And the players just don't realise that, which is the main problem at this club, and the CEO as well, Mark Ashton, who just doesn't have a clue what he's doing. So yeah, that's Bristol City's problem in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think that sounds very much like Newcastle, doesn't it, Stephen? They need a new training pitch.
It bears striking resemblance to Newcastle, doesn't it? I mean, everything Annie said there about Bristol City, you can more or less say about Newcastle United, but apart from the manager, we don't love the manager. That's one thing we don't do, I think. But everything else, we don't. I don't. I bloody hate the man. Absolutely hate the man. Have my videos not taught you anything? But yeah, soon the Bruce goes, the better for me. But as Annie said, with Bristol City, you can say the same about Newcastle. The way both clubs is run at the moment, it isn't how both clubs should be run.
Yeah,
we've like passionate fans, probably both the clubs, but the way the owners both owners don't say that, and that's the way I think.
Yeah, Annie's just looking at Bristol City's fixtures here. I've just pulled them up. The next 4, they've got Nottingham Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Wickham, and Luton. Now, Forest are currently 15th, Luton are 13th, and Sheffield United are 23rd, and Wickham are bottom. So there's potential for points there, really, isn't there? You've got to be confident.
I'm writing 1 game off there, Wickham away. We are definitely going to lose there because that's what we do. So Sheffield Wednesday away, it's always been a bad ground for us. Hillsborough, we don't do well there. So I'll take a point there. Forest, it's Chris Hughton, so they're going to stink a point, aren't they? And then Luton, I think we might nick the 3 points, but our home form is absolutely dreadful. We've lost 7 in a row at home, which is just shocking. And then after that, we've got even tougher fixtures. We've got Brentford at home in the last game as well. So yeah, it's just very like write the season off and then look for next season as well. For Bristol City at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be thinking of relegation. You're 14 points clear of relegation, so I think you'll be absolutely fine this season. I think there is some worse teams off in the league, like Rotherham, Wickham, and I think Birmingham and Coventry as well. Just looking at them, they're hovering above the relegation zone at the minute because Sheffield Wednesday obviously started the league with a big deficit, so they're sort of crawling back. But I think they're too many points behind. They're 7 points behind to clear relegation. And Bristol City, they've obviously only won 1 in the last 6 and drawn 1, lost 4. It's not really that sounds like a Newcastle record, that, doesn't it? I mean, Stephen, we've been there before, going all that sort of like through all that form. How many? 2 wins in 21, is it now? 2 wins in 20?
2 wins in 21. Absolutely blinding bit of form, that, isn't it? Champions League next. How Steve Bruce didn't lose his job even after that Sheffield United match, where we sat with 5 at the back and he had won all season. Even the Brentford game, we played similar. In the Cup, in the League Cup, we played similar today, 5 at the back. And we end up losing that, going out of that with a whimper. But I still understand Mike Ashley's thinking with 2 wins in 21 games. Then being Everton and Southampton, I've won a game since then. That he thinks Steve Bruce can do the job to keep us up. There was a slight improvement against Spurs, granted, yes. But we need to keep that sort of mentality to go into the remaining games. We've got 8 games to save our season, 8 cup finals, if you will, you'll use that cliche. But it's the way we've got to go to teams where we've got left and play like we're in the FA Cup final against Manchester City.
Yeah, well, that is the third last game of the season, Manchester City. So I'll be looking forward to that one. Obviously, it's down. I think it's up at St James's as well, isn't it? Is that right? I think it's at St James's.
Yeah, it's at St James's. Yeah.
Yeah. Annie, just talk about obviously your little background with Bristol City. What made you start supporting them? How long you support them for?
I've actually been only supporting them for 3 years. Because of the fact that I've just moved into the country about 4 years ago. But yeah. Firstly, I wasn't really interested in football, but then my classmates started talking about it, and then I was like, fine. And then I never heard of the Championship before. I only heard of the likes of United, Liverpool, like any other foreign football fan. Never heard of the Championship. And then one of my mates came up to me and was like, "Oh, have you heard about the Bristol City score?" I'm like, "Who are Bristol City?" And then he was like, "Oh, basically they're in the second tier of the of English football, and they're very bad, but still we go through pain for them."
I think that's our response in Newcastle, isn't it, Stephen? When someone says, "Oh, you know about Sunderland or Middlesbrough," we're like, "Who are them?" You know what I mean? That's just an automatic reaction to the smaller teams in the northeast, isn't it?
I know. Then we had up to now we aren't as better as what Middlesbrough and Sunderland are. If we go down, we'll be meeting Sunderland and Middlesbrough. We'll have a time-away derby and a away-time derby in the Championship next season. I mean, it should be in the Premier League. That's where it's at. That's where it all should be. Your local derby should be in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But if we do get relegated, God help it, we'll be playing our derbies in the Championship. I mean, I'd like to see Sunderland come up and be in the Prem, but only just to take 6 points off them, and Middlesbrough as well. But
debatable.
Yeah, I'm pie in the sky thinking there. But yeah, I'd like to say all the teams in the Premier League, as many others would, so you can have them derbies to look forward to in the fixtures list. When the fixture list comes out, you have your derbies to look forward to, but we haven't had a derby to look forward to for a while, with Borough and Sunderland being in the second and third division of English football.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good thing, to be honest with you. With them being in the lower leagues, it gives us time to rebuild, because I was just saying to Annie before you joined us earlier that we haven't got the best record against Sunderland, and I can't even remember the last time we played Middlesbrough, to be honest with you. And Bazza T just says, if we're not safe by the last game of the season, we are down. However, positive thoughts, 3 points on Sunday and another win somewhere else, and we are safe. I agree. I think we need... Sunday is absolutely massive, if you ask me. I think it is the cup final, like Stephen mentioned before. And I do think we can pick up points here and there as well. I do think when you look at the likes of Arsenal, they are struggling, like Stephen mentioned before. I still think we can claw a point off them. And then we've got Liverpool, who are not at their best at the minute. So if we can sort of roughen them up early in the game, I think we can sort of like make one mark and maybe steal a point off them as well. And Sheffield United, we have got some unfinished business down there. So they beat us early in the season. So I think we need to beat them. And then Fulham, I hope we are the ones to relegate them personally. That's what I think. What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, I'll go along with your thinking, Kev. Hopefully we're the ones we save and we relegate Fulham. And say to them at the end, well, it was a nice it was a nice tussle towards the end of the season, wasn't it? You picking up wins, Newcastle picking up wins, but the better team stays up. Saying it, have a nice life in the Championship.
Annie, who do you think will win the Championship? Who do you think will get promoted?
I think Norwich, if they win on Saturday, and then Brentford and Swansea draw or lose, they're gone. They're up. So they're done. Watford, 9-point gap on Brentford, who are third. I think they're up as well. So the top two is before this Easter weekend. I think the top two is really exciting, but now it's just done. Especially with Swansea losing 4 games on the spin, and Brentford not being in their greatest of forms as well. Playoffs, seriously, I don't have a clue who's going to go up. It's just that's just the Championship. It could be Middlesbrough, who it's a far shout for Middlesbrough, but they've still got a chance with Neil Warnock as their manager. And then you've got the ex-Premier League players with Bournemouth, Barnsley, who were the shock, Reading, who were also a shock. And then you also got Cardiff, who got Harry Wilson, who was just too good for this league, and good players all round. And then it's anybody's game at this moment in time. But if it was on me, I'd put my money on Bournemouth just because they're taking it at the correct moment, and also because they've got ex-Premier League players. Yeah,
Bournemouth obviously won 4 out of the last 6, and they've got a game in hand on 6th place Reading as well. So if they win that game in hand, I think they go 2 points ahead of Reading as well. So that would put them in the playoff positions. So I think it is obviously a 5-team fight for that place. But when you mentioned Middlesbrough down in 10th, I think it's going to be a tough ask for them. I mean, they're 9 points behind. And I just think the teams at the minute in the playoffs are sort of peaking at the right time. When you look at Reading, I mean, they've won 2, lost 3. Sorry, won 2, drawn 3, lost 1. Barnsley, I mean, that's a surprise for me. Barnsley being in the playoff places. They've won 3, lost 2. Sorry, drawn 2, lost 1. Swansea have lost 4 out of the last 6. So they're sort of going backwards a bit. And then Brentford have drawn 4 out of the last 6 as well. So, I mean, you are right what you say. It is sort of like it's like, Steve, I mean, we talked about it before. The Championship is an absolute dogfight, isn't it? I mean, anyone's just trying to scrap and get out of there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, when Newcastle were in the Championship twice, I mean, I think the first time we were in it, we lost our first 2 games, and we said, which way is this going to go? But like you said, there's no easy game in the Championship. I mean, we were lucky the first time. We had Chris Houghton, who was a brilliant manager in the Championship for us, got us up. Then the second time we went down, we had Rafa, one of the best managers in the world, dropping down to the Championship to get a team back up. And he did that admirably. I know we went on a little run where we couldn't win a game, but we always picked up points. I know we lost 10 games in all that season. And like you say, it is a really hard dogfight in the Championship. It's like you said, there's no easy games. It was no fans there anymore with the fans back next season, but it is a real hard struggle to get out of there. I mean, it was always a straight fight between Newcastle and Brighton. When Brighton were in the Championship, it come at the same time as what Newcastle did. It was always a straight fight between them two. I remember Newcastle was sat in second, and they had a good, healthy gap between them and Reading, who were up there as well. And it was all down to goal difference. I think Newcastle had the far superior goal difference than what Reading had. Reading would have had to score about 15 goals in the last 5 games to even try and threaten Newcastle in second place at that moment. But like you say, it is a hard league to get out of. Newcastle being lucky twice to win it twice. So that's what it is.
You can thank us for that. You can thank us for that. For you winning the league the second time. Because we had to play Brighton away. I think it was about 3 games left. We needed the win to stay up. And I think if Brighton lost, Newcastle would win the league. So we won 1-0. and Newcastle won the league in the end. So yeah, you can thank us for that.
So I'm just going to finish off with a few predictions. Obviously, Annie, I'll start with you. Bristol City versus Forest, Saturday at 3 p.m. Score prediction?
I'm not confident at all. Even though Pearson went on that rant, I think it would just be not enough. And I think the players will continue not giving anything for the club. So I'm going Bristol City 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
Oh, that's interesting. Stephen, Burnley, Sunday afternoon, cup final, must win. Score prediction?
I've said on. I think 2-1 myself. That's what I'm trying to stay conservative, but I think 2-1.
Interesting. I'm going to go 2-0. I can't personally see Burnley scoring, to be honest with you. I think they haven't really got much up front. They've got Chris Wood. I know he's all right. I mean, he's not the best, but the only thing with Burnley is they're a sort of team that'll scrap for anything. They're big and tough, and they like to tackle. So it's going to be a tough game, but I just don't think it's going to be the best game to watch. Personally, I think it's going to be a scrappy game. But we need to scrap as much as we can and try and get the points, personally. So I think if we show the same attitude that we did at Tottenham, and then the same sort of attacking pressure as well, make them make mistakes in their own final third, and there's no reason why we can't capitalise like we did against Spurs, and I think we were unlucky not to win that game. And then one more prediction as well. Annie, who's going to win the Champions League?
PSG is are going to win the Champions League. I think Mbappe and Neymar will carry them to the Champions League.
I agree there with you, Annie. I agree there with Annie, because you're a Bayern fan, aren't you? I agree with Annie. PSG, I just think they too good with Mbappe and Neymar. The talent they've got with Pochettino, I think they might just win it. They haven't won it yet, have they? They've won it since they got all this new investment from Qatar. I think they will win it. I think they overdo it, you know. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, Stephen, we were just talking about this earlier on before you came on as well about the Champions League. If Mbappe and Neymar got injured next week and they were out of the game against Bayern in the second leg, who do you think will turn up for PSG? Do you think it'll be a one-sided game again, or do you think PSG will have the same momentum as they did last night and sort of like hit their Bayern on the counter-attack? Because to me, I think they heavily rely on them.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. They said they heavily rely on like Neymar and Mbappe, because that's where most of their play goes to them, because of the pace and Neymar's skill, Mbappe's blistering plays. So if they were to be out for the return leg, it may even the playing field a little bit. I think Lewandowski will be back, won't he, for the return leg?
It's touch and go. He started his rehab today, so it's touch and go. We'll see.
Yeah, but if he was to make it, you might have a chance, because it's only a 3-2, and that's a very slender lead. But I think you say Mbappe and Neymar is like the standout men for PSG, but you always got to look at Lewandowski. He's like a one-man team for Bayern Munich, I would say. Everything goes to him. That's how many goals he's scored. He's scored an astronomical amount of goals since he's went to Bayern. I mean, I don't follow German football. I'm not into German football. I know Lewandowski's an absolute goal machine, and I think Bayern missed him last night, I think.
Yeah, I was saying before that I think if Lewandowski had been playing last night, I think it would have been a totally different scoreline. I think Bayern could have hit 4 or 5 last night easy, the amount of chances that they had. And I just think they were unlucky to get beat 3-2. But when they went 2-2, I said to my fiancé when we were watching it, I thought Bayern's going to win this 3-2 because they had the momentum, and then PSG hit them on the break like they always do. I mean, Mbappe again, and I thought, you know what it is, I absolutely hate this bloke, but I hate Neymar even more. So, I mean, they are overdue, the Champions League. I know exactly what you mean by that, but we'll wait and see. I think it's interesting that you haven't said Man City. I thought you might have said them, to be honest with you, Stephen.
No, I don't. I know Man City's playing well. Yeah, they'll wrap the title up before long in the Premier League because they know they have been the best team in the league since Liverpool's slumping form. But I just don't see Man City winning it. You know, there's better teams like obviously with there's even Dortmund. I quite like Dortmund. I know you always don't like to hear that, but
to be honest with you, what I was looking
players,
forward to, I was looking forward to a Dortmund Bayern semi-final. That's what I was looking forward to.
that'd be good. The way you had a Dortmund Bayern final once, didn't you? At Wembley.
Yeah. 2013, 2012, one of them 2 years.
Yeah, something like that. Ian Robin got it in the 89th minute, didn't he? Something like that.
Yeah. And that was when Lewandowski was playing for Dortmund as well.
Oh, yes, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So where do you think Haaland will end up then? Because there's all this talk about Haaland going to Barcelona.
Annie, where do you think Haaland will end up?
I'd say I personally say Manchester City just because Aguero's gonna leave. But I'm not. I mean, it's very hard to predict rumours because it could change any minute. But if I was to place a bet now, I'd say Manchester City.
You see, I think Barcelona. I don't know why. Something's telling us Barcelona for some reason. I just think, obviously, Mino Raiola was in Spain last week talking to the representatives of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and I just think obviously he's got the past connections with Man City as well, hasn't he? Because obviously his dad played for them, and he was born in Leeds as well. So, but I just think obviously Barcelona's good president Juan Laporta is obviously good friends with Mino Raiola as well. So. I don't know, something's telling us Barcelona for some reason, but obviously we'll wait and see on that. Lewis Porter, I think this is one of your mates, Annie. How are we doing, lads? Looking forward to this week's matchup. I think he's meaning the Bristol City game there, isn't he? I think the Forest game. Is that right?
No, I think he's a Burnley fan.
Burnley fan. He was
yes,
he's a Burnley fan.
Yeah, my mistake. I think it is. Yes, it is a Burnley fan. I do apologise about that. Lewis, if you're interested, I've predicted 2-0 to Newcastle. And Stephen down there, Steve Bruce's #1 fan. He's predicted
Steve Bruce's #1 fan. I hate the man. Absolutely hate him. Can't stand him. If I had £4 million, I'd pay it myself to get him out.
I am going to wrap the video up here though. So, Stephen, thanks for coming on. Annie, anytime you want to chat about football, just give us a shout and we'll do it again, okay? But thanks again for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. Thanks everyone for watching as well. Thanks very much.